Oh.
Oh.
What's going on, man? Thank y'all for being here. Well, no one's here.
Thanks for nobody being here.
Nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody.
It's
all right.
Yeah. Avenged Sevenfold did a song.
Huh?
Called, that's one of their latest releases was Nobody.
Yeah.
It's kind of a good song, actually. You hear it the first time, it has to grow on you a little bit, but it's pretty good.
Well, all right. Let's go ahead and get the show rolling, and some people will join us soon, hopefully. And first thing I want to put up there is Marjorie Taylor Greene, in her speech she gave when it comes to why she was leaving. Let's go ahead and throw it up there. Okay.
We've never done this before, guys.
I've always represented the common American man and woman as a member of the House of Representatives, which is why I've always been despised in Washington, D.C., and just never fit in. Americans are used by the political industrial complex of both political parties, election cycle after election cycle, in order to elect whichever side can convince Americans to hate the other side more. And the results are always the same. No matter which way the political pendulum swings, Republican or Democrat, nothing ever gets better for the common American man or woman. The debt goes higher, corporate and global interests remain Washington's sweethearts, American jobs continue to be replaced, whether it's by illegal labor or legal labor by visas or just shipped overseas. Small businesses continue to be swallowed by big corporations. Americans' hard-earned tax dollars always fund foreign wars, foreign aid, and foreign interest. And the spending power of the dollar continues to decline. The average American family can no longer survive on a single breadwinner's income, as both parents have to work in order to simply survive. And today, many in my children's generation feel hopeless for their future and don't think they will ever realize the American dream. And that breaks my heart. I ran for Congress in 2020 and have fought every single day believing that Make America Great Again meant America first. I have one of the most conservative voting records in Congress, defending the First Amendment, Second Amendment, unborn babies, because I believe God creates life at conception, and I love to fight for the little guy. Strong, safe borders, I have fought hard for that. I've fought against COVID tyrannical insanity and mandated mass vaccinations, and I've never voted to fund foreign wars with your hard-earned tax dollars. However, with almost 1 year into our majority, the legislature has been mostly sidelined. We endured an 8-week shutdown, wrongly, resulting in the House not working for the entire time, and we are entering campaign season, which means all courage leaves and only safe campaign reelection.
That did irritate me when they had the House shut down throughout that whole government shutdown. They could have codified a lot of Trump's policies, and they didn't.
Yes.
And the reason they didn't, we all know why. It's because they were afraid to, Epstein. Here's the thing. If they would have done it there and then and just went ahead and did the vote, you know what? You wouldn't have the uproar a week later and then waste time doing that. It would have happened during the a shutdown, and then the media would have had two different stories. They would have to pick to choose what story they were going to talk about. But instead, the Republicans did something stupid, and they decided, let's just go ahead and just do the story when it comes to shutdown now, and then we'll do the Epstein story for a week afterwards and waste a week of time that they could use to actually get something done for the American people and maybe get some of Trump's policies codified, and didn't do any of it.
I wonder if that was an accident or if that was just pretty much how the mess is going to roll over. You know what's funny is
it's by design.
By design.
Yeah.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
Election mode is turned on in the House of Representatives. During the longest shutdown in our nation's history, I raged against my own speaker and my own party for refusing to proactively work diligently to pass the plan to save Americans' health care and protect Americans from outrageous, overpriced, and unaffordable health insurance policies. The House should have been in session working every day to fix this disaster. But instead, America was force-fed disgusting political drama once again from both sides of the aisle on television every single day. My bills, which reflect many of President Trump's executive orders, like calling for a new census counting Americans only to draw new districts, making English the official language of the U.S., making it a felony to medically trans a minor, and other bills like eliminating capital gains taxes on the sale of your primary home and eliminating H-1B visas, just sit. They all sit collecting dust. That's how it is for most members of Congress bills. The Speaker never brings them to the floor for a vote. Many common Americans are no longer easily convinced by paid political propaganda spokespersons and consultants on TV and paid shills on social media, obediently serving with cult-like conviction to force others to swallow the political party talking points. Because they know how much credit card debt they have, they know how much their bills have gone up over the past 5 years. They actually do their own grocery shopping and know food costs too much. Their rent has increasingly gone up and up. They have been outbid by corporate asset managers too many times when they put in an offer to buy a house. They have been laid off after being forced to train their visa holding replacement. The college degree they were told to earn only left them in debt with no big six-figure salary. They see more homeless people than ever on their own community streets. They can't afford health insurance or practically any insurance, and they just aren't stupid. These are the people I represent and love because that is who all of my family and friends are, common Americans. I've been blessed to represent the 14th District of Georgia for 5 years. The district is filled with some of the most wonderful, kind-hearted, God-fearing, patriotic, hardworking people you will ever meet. Good, regular, common Americans. I've worked hard to bring taxpayer dollars back home to help district needs. I impeached Biden's Secretary of Homeland after watching my constituents die as he facilitated dangerous open border invasion into America. And I led the effort to defund hard-left politically biased NPR and PBS and the corrupt USAID, and I did that as chair of the DOJ subcommittee. I have fought harder than almost any other elected Republican to elect Donald Trump and Republicans to power. I traveled the country for years. I spent millions of my own money. I missed precious time with my family that I can never get back. And I showed up in places like outside the New York courthouse in Collect Pond Park against a raging leftist mob as Trump faced Democrat lawfare. Meanwhile, most of the establishment Republicans who secretly hate him and who stabbed him in the back and never defended him against anything have all been welcomed in right after the election.
Matt's trying to speak, but he's got.
Yeah. She's right about that. There's a lot of Never Trumpers in her, in his cabinet now. That wouldn't have voted for him in 2016 or 2020, and finally did in 2024 because the options were limited between him and, Kamala Harris. And, you also got people like Ben Shapiro and others that wouldn't vote for him in 2016 or even 2020. So all of a sudden they're MAGA, and I'm trying to understand how that is and how that could be.
It's a very good question.
And I will never forget the day I had to leave my mother's side as my father had brain surgery to remove cancerous tumors in order to fly to Washington, D.C. to defend President Trump and vote no against the Democrats' second impeachment in 2021. My poor father and my poor mother, it was way too much for all of us. Through it all, I never changed or went back on my campaign promises and only disagreed in a few areas, like my stance against H-1Bs replacing American jobs, AI state moratoriums, debt for life 50-year mortgage scams, standing strongly against all involvement in foreign wars, and demanding the release of the Epstein files. Other than that, my voting record has been solidly with my party and the president. Loyalty should be a two-way street, and we should be able to vote our conscience and represent our district's interests because our job title is literally representative. America first should mean America first and only Americans first, with no other foreign country ever being attached to America first in our halls of government. Standing up for American women who were raped at 14 years old, trafficked and used by rich, powerful men should not result in me being called a traitor and threatened by the President of the United States, whom I fought for. However, while yes, hurtful, my heart remains filled with joy, my life is filled with happiness, and my true convictions remain unchanged because my self-worth is not defined by a man, but instead by God, who created everything in existence. You see, I have never valued power, titles, or attention in spite of all the wrong assumptions about me. I do not cling.
See, most people think this is happening because, the rift between her and Trump is because she wanted to run for Senate or for governor. I don't know if that's the case or not. And the thing is, it's hard to determine who's telling the truth when it comes to that. She's saying that it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with her stance on, first, I think it began with the big, beautiful bill. Then when it went to Iran with what happened there, and then then Epstein.
Yeah, and then Trump doesn't. He does just doubles down on being an a-hole. Yeah. That's not cool.
To those things because they are meaningless and empty traps that hold too many people in Washington. I believe in term limits and do not think Congress should be a lifelong career or an assisted living facility. My only goal and desire has ever been to hold the Republican Party accountable for the promises it makes to the American people and put America first. And I have fought against Democrats' damaging policies like the Green New Deal, wide open, deadly, unsafe border policies, and the trans agenda on children and against women. With that has brought years of nonstop, never-ending personal attacks, death threats, lawfare, ridiculous slander, and lies about me that most people could never withstand even for a single day. It has been unfair and wrong, not only to me, but especially to my family. But it's been wrong to my district as well. I have too much self-respect and dignity. I love my family way too much, and I do not want my sweet district to have to endure a hurtful and hateful primary against me by the president that we all fought for, only to fight and win my election while Republicans will likely lose the midterms, and in turn be expected to defend the president against impeachment after he hatefully dumped tens of millions of dollars against me and tried to destroy me. It's all so absurd and completely unserious. I refuse to be a battered wife, hoping it all goes away and gets better. If I am cast aside by the president and the MAGA political machine and replaced by neocons, big pharma, big tech, military-industrial war complex, foreign leaders, and the elite donor class that can never, ever relate to real Americans, then many common Americans have been cast aside and replaced as well. There is no plan to save the world or a 4D chess game being played. When common American people realize and understand that the political industrial complex of both parties is ripping this country apart, that not one elected leader like me is able to stop Washington's machine from gradually destroying our country. And instead, the reality is that they, common Americans, the people, possess the real power over Washington, then I'll be here by their side to rebuild it. Until then, I'm going back to the people that I love, to live my life to the fullest as I always have, and I look forward to a new path ahead. I'll be resigning from office with my last day being January 5th, 2026. And I look forward to seeing many of you again sometime in the future. May God bless you all, and may God bless America.
I agree with dumpling. I can't see
dumpling gauze. Yeah.
And there was the Gateway pundit's been actually running hit pieces on her, kind of.
I know. I've been seeing them. Yeah.
And I'm like, dude,
Actually, I got some rebuttals on that. I've been doing some investigations on my own. But first, I want to go ahead and bring up this video of Trump, what he had to say today about.
so before you do that video, I might get ahead of your. But they're going to talk junk that she's going to resign after she's able to qualify for the federal pension.
And
exactly. Are you going? So we're upset that she's going to do that, but it's okay. Hunter Biden laptop, no big deal. Just I hope we talk a little bit about Todd Blanche. No big deal, Just
yeah, we'll get to it if we get time. But here's this video.
Are you willing to forgive Congresswoman Taylor Greene? Forgive for what? No, I just disagreed with her philosophy. She started backing perhaps the worst Republican congressman in our history. Stupid person named Massey. And I said, go your own way. And once I left her, she resigned because she would never have survived the primary. But I think she's a nice person. Okay, thank you very much.
I think she would have done fine in the primary. Here's the thing: she would have been competing not only would Trump throw money in there, so would the Israeli lobby, in order to try to get her out of there as the nominee for the Republican Party.
That would have been a double whammy. And Thomas Massey's not a bad dude. I don't know why Trump doesn't like this guy, other than the fact that Thomas Massey sticks to what he thinks is right. And I agree with what he says a lot. I wanted to see the Epstein files. So what if it took down your Republican and Democrat donors for going to, I'm not going to say the terms that he said, but he said it on the Senate floor, and everybody was like, ooh, because these people actually are able to go to these skips and look at a lot of classified information. They can do this. They know things. They see things. They know exactly what's going on. I can only imagine some of their extensive knowledge when it comes to what happened in 9/11. Also, Timothy McVeigh. I would have a really hard time keeping a straight face on that Senate or that House floor, knowing what I would be able to know. Oh, it would just,
Yeah.
Bam.
Well, let's go ahead. Let me set this down. All right, let's go ahead, and I got another video here, and it's talking about this. And this one, it's from YouTube. This guy does great videos, and he only has 10,000 subscribers. I don't know why. He does really good work. And he has, it says Nick Fuentes reacts to Marjorie Taylor Greene. There's more to it than that. And he talks into it. He has a really good assessment of what happened here. And he has a bunch of videos in it too. It's really good. It's about 10 minutes long. It's a good video. It's something I think is good for us to react to. And it's just, I really like the video.
And now she's resigning midway through her term. Very strange timing, very strange turn of events. And so maybe she just withdrew because it got too difficult. We'll talk about it tonight. We'll work through her statement. We'll talk all about the announcement. It's a pretty big surprise, especially after this massive victory over the Jeffrey Epstein disclosure. So they just won. They just finished.
So last week was absolutely chaotic, and the Israel First crowd was losing it in every possible way. They lost the vote to stop the Epstein files from being released. People actually stood with Nick Fuentes and Tucker Carlson instead of Lil Ben and his little crew. And Trump was forced to sign the release of the Epstein files after fighting it nonstop for months. And the only reason any of that even happened was because Marjorie Taylor Greene kept fighting. Even when everyone was attacking her, she pushed the entire Republican Party to stand up to Trump. And honestly, it was one of the biggest wins we've seen in a long time. But now everything suddenly flipped. Out of nowhere, she's resigning.
I'll be resigning from office with my last day being January 5th, 2026. And I look forward to seeing many of you again sometime in the future. May God bless you all, and may God bless America.
just like that. And you can't tell me the timing isn't strange. The vote finally goes through. Trump takes the biggest L of his life on the issue he was desperate to block. The Israel first folks are melting down. And right in the middle of all that, the one person who pushed this over the finish line just steps down. It feels off, like the timing, the pressure, the attacks. Everything points to something bigger going on behind the scenes. And Nick Fuentes pointed that out perfectly in his reaction.
Marjorie Taylor Greene resignation, huge news, and a big surprise, big shocker. This came out of absolutely nowhere. It makes no sense on some level. Marjorie is relatively young. I mean, she's an older woman, but she's relatively young for a congresswoman. And as far as I'm aware, I think she's more popular than ever. She has easily won every election since her first election, I think in 2022 or 2020. She's been around for a long time. She's been learning the game. She's been quite popular. And like I said, the resignation follows her total and complete victory over Donald Trump concerning the bill which will force the DOJ to release the Epstein files. Donald Trump has been working overtime to cover up the Epstein files, to bury them, to distract people from them. And it was only this week, I believe we covered it on Monday and Tuesday. It is now headed to the president's desk for a signature. It is only this week that the bill finally passed, and it did so with the defections of 4 MAGA congressmen, Thomas Massie, Marjorie Greene, Lauren Boebert, and Nancy Mace. This was the latest and arguably the most intense conflict between Marjorie Greene and President Trump to date. It seemed that, considering that Marjorie Greene has been one of Trump's closest friends and staunchest allies in Congress, one of the most conservative members of Congress, and in fairness, the areas where Marjorie has broken with the president, these are areas where the president has broken with the people.
Yep.
Marjorie disagrees with the president on H-1Bs, on bombing Iran, on foreign aid to Israel, and on the Epstein files. These all happen to be MAGA America First issues. These are America First labor, corruption, and foreign policy issues. And most of these things are things that Trump campaigned on himself. Perhaps not specifically H-1Bs, but Trump did campaign on not starting new wars, on an America First foreign policy, and on releasing the Epstein files. He's not delivering, and these are the areas where Marjorie has disagreed. In response, Trump has totally pulled the rug out from under her and declared an open war on her. Marjorie retaliated against the president. She replied, and she said that because of the statement, she's been getting death threats. She says that people are threatening her, harassing her, doxing her. She's in fear for her life. And Trump has totally dismissed that. Now, the big news came today on Friday.
So you want to respond to the comments real quick?
Oh, dude, who thinks Helen Keller all the way? Rosa Parks was a grifter.
All right, here you go.
And why do I have half of? That is not half is only what you want it to perceive to be. You know, your perception of half could be actually whole, but you just don't understand the whole thing. And that's fine because that's only half the picture. Fair enough. All right, good deal. Roll with it. I'm all ears.
That she is resigning. And she talked in her resignation message about this conflict. She talked about how she's frustrated with the lack of change or willingness to change in Washington. She wrote about how she is disappointed and saddened about the conflict with the president. She also writes about the pressure she's under and the danger.
Reporters actually confronted Trump about her saying her life was in danger. And this is how he completely dismissed it.
Her life could be at danger because of the rhetoric.
Her life is in danger? Who's that?
Marjorie Taylor Greene, she says.
Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't think her life is in danger. Frankly, I don't think anybody cares about her. Okay.
Just a couple of days before she resigned, she actually fired back at Trump after he called her a traitor. She hit him back hard.
I was called a traitor by a man that I fought for 6 years for. And I gave him my loyalty for free. I won my first election without his endorsement, beating 8 men in a primary. And I've never owed him anything, but I fought for him for the policies and for America first. And he called me a traitor for standing with these women and refusing to take my name off the discharge petition. Let me tell you what a traitor is. A traitor is an American that serves foreign countries and themselves. A patriot.
Oh, that's fighting words. I like it.
Yeah.
Like it.
Like a lot.
Is an American that serves the United States of America and Americans like the women standing behind me.
The news story about it, it says, quote, Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, the hard-right Georgia Republican, said on Friday night that she would resign from Congress in January, an announcement that came days after President Trump branded her a traitor for breaking with him and helping to force a vote to compel the Justice Department to release its files related to Jeffrey Epstein. Ms. Greene, who was elected in 2020 and positioned herself as a diehard Trump supporter until a series of ruptures with the president on a variety of issues, made the abrupt announcement in a video and statement she posted online, filmed from her home in Georgia with her Christmas tree on display behind her. Important detail there. She said, quote, loyalty should be a two-way street. We should be able to vote our conscience and represent our district's interest. She said that she had been cast aside by MAGA Inc. It was indicative that many common Americans had been cast aside and replaced as well. Exactly. In a phone interview with an ABC reporter, Mr. Trump called her plans great news for the country.
The Israel First crowd are already celebrating her resignation like it's some kind of political victory. Randy Fine jumped online the second the news dropped and tweeted, "One anti-Semite down, one to go," which pretty much shows the mindset they're operating from. And the reason they're celebrating is the same reason so many people found her presence important in the first place. By the way,
someone said that he need to go back to Israel.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, wow. My wife, I can't find your channel on YouTube.
It's, spelt the way it's spelled. But anyway.
Oh, I'm kind of retarded. But no, dude. So I did a video a few weeks ago of when Netanyahu came into town and he walks down through the Senate floor, House floor, whatever that building was. And every damn Republican stood up and clapped and cheered and wanted to, it's like Netanyahu could have threw a pair of his underwear out there in the crowd. They'd have been like, oh my God. It was like, what the hell? And so I'm telling you what, man, that Israel money be just getting it done. And I'm not going to make it about Israel. But all I'm saying is something weird. Something is very, very strange. Very strange. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
When he says one to go, he's talking about Thomas Massie. Of course, anyone who actually prioritizes the American people is a huge threat to them. Just watch this video of him exposing them over the Epstein files, and you'll instantly understand why they want him gone too.
If you're a party to that in the Senate, you are part of this cover-up that we are trying to expose. I am sorry if one of your billionaire donors is going to get embarrassed because he went to Rape Island. That is what they have coming. In fact, they need to be on the other side of bars, a lot of them. Some of them will be embarrassed, but some of them need to go to prison, and the survivors know that. So how will we know if this bill has been successful? We will know when there are men, rich men in handcuffs being perp-walked to the jail. And until then, this is still a cover-up.
And here he tells us exactly why Trump was pushing so hard to keep those files out of public view in the first place.
It's that simple.
Why do you think he is working so hard not to get them released for so many months? What do you think the real reason is?
These files implicate billionaires and friends of his and political donors that he's trying to protect. And Epstein also had close ties to our own intelligence agencies and Israel's intelligence agencies. That's why there's so much effort in trying to stop this. And I do believe they'll try to stop it somewhere else. And that's going to backfire on them too.
So the president.
And here's Nick defending Thomas Massey and calling out Ben Shapiro and the rest of that crowd for their hypocrisy, pretending to be MAGA while doing everything that goes against the movement.
All of the plan trusters, all of these dipshits did nothing but attack Massey, undermine and criticize Tucker and Marjorie, while all of them were building up power on behalf of America First.
Yeah.
We have to remember who those people were. Who criticized Thomas Massey? Do you feel in charge? Thomas Massey got the Epstein files released. They brought attention to this issue, which is, this is maybe the most damning idea in politics today, which is that an Israeli spy with connections to the Israelis, to the mega group, to this Trump administration through Les Wexner. Les Wexner runs Ohio. Vance, if I'm not mistaken, got money from Les Wexner, as did Epstein, his business associate. Epstein, whose only remaining money in his estate is managed by Peter Thiel's venture capital firm. Who compelled the release of the files? Wasn't Trump, wasn't Vance, wasn't Charlie Kirk, wasn't all these sucking MAGA influencers, wasn't any of them. It was Thomas Massey. It was Tucker Carlson. It was Marjorie Taylor Greene. It was Lauren Boebert, Nancy Mace, that they all make fun of, that they all have contempt for. Don't listen to them. It's us versus them. It's us versus the party. And the party needs to be punched in the fucking face. And that's what happened here.
Well, I just hope they can't break Thomas Massey too. The pressure on him is insane right now. And he's one of the very few actually standing up. Anyway, make sure to subscribe to our channel for more.
Yeah. Well, good thing Thomas Massey doesn't really care about, he has no F's to give.
Yeah. Yeah. That's out the window for him. He don't give a shit.
Yeah. You know, I'm disappointed that she tapped out. I think that she should have just stayed the course until they voted her ass out. Just be like, the hell with it. But then again, unless she's building an outside political career, you know, if she's going to come back with a political, something different. She probably,
you mean a political comeback? Like a political comeback? Like she runs for Senate or runs for governor, president. Yeah. Or she might be just deciding, because by what I've heard, that Tucker Carlson, also Alex Jones and Steve Bannon are trying to convince her to work with them and start her own podcast from home. That way she could go ahead and do that and manage her company as well. I think a lot of it has to do with her company. Her company's not doing that great right now because of some of the stuff that's going on when it comes to H-1B visas. Okay. It's kind of hurting her company and other stuff like that. I've got a comment right here from Dumpling Gods. Personally, I think Israel represents an American foreign policy approach that needs to end for the good of the U.S. Absolutely.
Well, the good in general for them as well. I think that the more that they try to force them down our throats, it's making it worse for them. I don't think they realize that it would do them a favor if they just stopped doing this.
I think also it would do them a favor if they would. I think a lot of the anti-Israel stuff that's going on, or anti-government of Israel that's going on, is caused from themselves. The stuff they've done, they did to themselves. You know?
That's what I said just a second ago. But you just worded it nice and pretty. But if they just stop. Everything they do to try to force them down our throats is making it worse on them. The Streisand effect is exponential, and it would almost be beneficial if they were just out of sight. Then they would be out of mind. But the more that they're like, you know, let's you know, because everybody keeps showing, you know, you see the videos of that speaking like, we're going to hijack Twitter. Well, such and such and such and such, and everybody's like, and now every time something does come up, which it could be a positive move for Israel, it looks like propaganda to us. And we're like, no, don't like it. Yeah. And that's just something.
Here's the thing. When you're online, you're getting propaganda not only from Israel, from Qatar, from China, all over the place. And the thing is, there's certain people that are acceptable to all of it. I think Trump's one of these people.
I think so too.
Don't get me wrong. I like Trump, but the thing is, he seems to be susceptible to a lot of this programming you're seeing online when it comes from these different countries. And I think it's just, I think there's problems there, is what I'm saying. There's some serious problems. But I want to get into the part where she supposedly, the hit pieces that we've seen. Now, one of them is she's supposedly insider a traitor. The thing is, if you look into her wealth, when she first got into Congress, she was worth about $700,000.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason is because the company that she's a part of, is her father's company. Okay. Well, her father passed away in 2021 or 2022, something like that. She actually left when he was getting surgery to go back to DC to go and vote, make sure Trump would get
Trump
impeached.
for being impeached, yeah.
And he passed away when she did.
Mm-hmm.
So she missed her father's death because she had to go to DC and vote for that. And I'm sure that probably weighs on her a bit. The other thing also, when it comes to her, they're saying she's worth in between 24 and $25 million. Well, guess how much that company's worth? $25 million.
Mm-hmm.
But she only has 50% of it. Now, the company's gone up a little bit when it comes to the worth of it. But, whenever in 2023, she was worth $11 million. She doubled an estimate of $22 million. The beginning of 2025, she increased by $3 million by the fall of 2025. Now, the stocks she's a part of, the biggest one is actually Trump Media Group, a technical group. Okay. She has a large stock portfolio in that. And the reason that's actually went up is because Trump became president. And also they have done stuff like done some mergers with another company, as well as did some.
So in other words, she's not riding the system.
No, but she does have stocks in Tesla. Let me look at this. Hold on. Now I'll name them because I want to be forthright with you guys and tell you what she does, other stuff she has stocks in.
Well,
Okay.
what would be indicative is how well she's doing with these stocks. Is she getting your normal
10%? Well, her portfolio in stocks are $3.2 million. Well, anyway,
I mean, her return is like, how do you know? Because what was it? Pelosi was 17,000% increase. So you're seeing 10 and 20% increase. You're doing pretty good. That's about right. But when you start seeing stuff in the hundreds and thousands, you're like, wait a minute, somebody's telling you something. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I'm missing something. Sorry, it takes me a minute. I have to take a minute to find it. Okay, here you go. The company she's invested in is Amazon, Apple, Dell, Nike, and Palantir. And
ones I'm invested in.
The thing is, what they're mad about is supposed she got invested into those companies 90 days before the tariff pause happened, right? When the tariff pause happened, you had stocks go up, right?
Yeah.
And here's the thing. She actually has someone that has control over that stock portfolio, supposedly. And that guy's like this, look, I'm the one that makes the decisions on it, not her.
Yeah. So. And what people don't realize is that Federal Trade Commission is pretty tight, especially if you're a conservative. You're not going to get a gimme like a Pelosi. So you probably need to do things kind of legitimate. It's okay to do everything as long as you're not a conservative.
Well, here's the thing. There's no law that prevents them from actually doing messing with their portfolio on their own. And what needs to happen is there needs to be laws to actually prevent that stuff from happening. They shouldn't have control over their portfolios when it comes to stock trading. Yeah. The thing is, she has let someone else get control of that, supposedly. And he came out and said something in a article. He pretty much he says, "Look, I have complete control over this, and I'm the one that's deciding where this stuff is going." She also has made money off of a CrossFit gym in Georgia. She flipped that, and now it's the most popular gym in Georgia. She's also has a lot of money invested in her own company as well, and that stock's going up. So I think people saying that she's into stock trading is complete bullshit.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Right. Well, I mean, the thing is, she, I think you're right there. It's a shame, but she had a really good conservative voting record so far as what people wanted, and I think it's a shame that it's almost like we're watching. You know how the Democrats watch the Democrat Party just up and leave them and become some kind of crazy extreme group. We're watching the MAGA movement do the exact same thing.
I don't think it's extreme. I don't think they're going to extremes. I think they're going back to the way they were before Trump.
Well, the what do you call it? The business as usual, the establishment, which is actually that's been harmful to the umpteenth degree to this country and our sovereignty because Republicans like Lindsey Graham signing in the the Patriot Act and they get pissed off because whoops, you just got Patriot Act and now all of a sudden do something about it. You're moving into that direction, and that's regardless if it's the Republican Party, we don't want that. We want a political party that represents Americans and people who want to live an American way of life. And that's, what I mean by that is, people that come from this country and then migrate legally, they want the America that they want to go to. They don't want what the establishment is trying to do. That's just, then the extreme, and the Democrats weren't that bad back in the 90s. You could actually, they would work somewhat together. I mean, things were still headed in a really bad direction for globalism.
Well, a perfect example is they weren't that bad. They signed all, Bill Clinton worked with Newt Gingrich to get work requirements for SNAP and other benefits like that.
Right.
And Trump does that with the big, beautiful bill. Democrats lose their mind. Oh, people are going to die on the streets. And oh my God, all the children ain't going to be able to eat. It's going to be like it's Africa without food. So on so.
Well, that is Africa. I mean, anyway, so South Africa. But like the thing about it is the worst case scenario by something like that happening is that you're not going to be able to afford to get your extensions. You're probably going to have to buy some. You have to use these for food. You can't trade your hair extension chick some food stamps.
No, actually, not. If you look into it, it's pretty broad. They have to actually get a job. Not only that, if you're not a citizen, you can't get SNAP.
That's good. That's what we need.
Yeah, I know. But the point is that ain't what Democrats need, because Democrats need to use SNAP and other benefits to buy votes. That's what it's meant for. It's meant to buy votes.
What's funny is that, and I hope I can relay this properly, but for years we had illegal immigration where people came across the border illegally, and they most of the time just went to work and did some stuff that was pretty productive, and that was okay. We didn't have any problem with that on both sides of the aisle because it was fine. But then they decided that they would keep voting Democrat and get more Democrats in power because they realized that it would be forgiving to what they were doing. And then what happened was they elected a Joe Biden, whether or not it was legitimate or not. He got in office, opened the borders up, and now productive illegals that have been here for 30 years, not bothering anybody, just got blanketed into all the deportations and are pissed off. Well, that's what you get. You should have thought about that, because when they opened the border up, they screwed your grift up. And there was a lot of illegals here that are actually saying that they're really upset at the open borders because it's messing up their thing. And I'm like, yeah, that happened.
Well, I don't think all of them are illegal, but some of them are here with visas, to work visas and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Let's see. I still haven't seen any proof of election fraud. Yeah.
Well, who said that? What the hell? You're got to be some kind of like really.
Don't worry about it. 64. We're happy to have you here. We're happy to have you.
Yeah,
here.
We're happy to have you here. Please, but
keep commenting.
Let me just. Yes, please comment. You're good. You're good. But let me just go back and forth for a minute here. Nothing, and we welcome everybody. The troll. Anybody wants to disagree with us, that's fine. But all I can say is, are you running a Commodore 64 with a 300 baud modem and a fast load cartridge? Because I'm gonna tell you what, right now, I don't agree with you a bit about that. Do you guys have it? Wait a minute. Do we have it?
Do you guys have it? Am I crazy?
I don't have COVID.
That ain't what he's asking. He's asking about the election fraud proof evidence.
Well, I guess that depends on your eye of the beholder. I mean, if you just could actually see what was going on, all the investigations that were done independently, the signed affidavits that are supposed to count for something, considering the fact that if maybe one or two of them are lying, but the thousands, what we've seen in Michigan with pizza boxes. Yeah.
Not only that, the election rolls they won't turn over to make sure there's no dead people or illegals or
I tell you what,
on them.
I'll say this right.
Makes you wonder why.
Where's your proof that they didn't manipulate that election? How about that?
Well, see. Here's the thing: we're making the claim, so we're the ones that got to actually prove it.
Nah, I can be.
Now, here's the thing. I'm going to play devil's advocate here for you, brother.
I know,
because I tend to agree with you, William, but I'm going to play devil's advocate for them.
I'm fine with it.
All right, and here's the thing: if you look at how much Biden won by, he won by about 4.55%, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you look at registration numbers in 2020 shows that Biden was ahead, the Democrats were ahead by 4.5%. And normally that's how elections work. Whoever has the most registrations ahead of the other party, they will win by that percentage. Perfect example, if you look at Obama in 2008, he had a percentage of 7%. No, 11%.
Obama legal. I think
11%, and he won by 10.5%. Then you have him in 2012. He had a percentage of 8%. He won by 7.5%. And then you have Trump. Clinton was ahead by 2%. She won by 2% in the popular vote, even though he won the electoral vote. And then you have Biden. He was ahead by 4.5%. And 4.5%. He won by almost 5%. So
you're basing it on registration.
Yes, but right? It's a pattern. Okay, it's an actual pattern. It is a pattern. The thing. Let me tell you this.
Yeah.
Okay. When it comes to like the states I'm thinking about, Georgia, Wisconsin, Arizona, those three states, if you would have had 5,000 votes flip, that would have went to Trump. That's all you needed. Yeah. And so the thing is, the fraud did not have to be huge in those states. They had to be very minuscule in order to make sure you flip it a certain way. And not only that, how come it would take these particular states, would stop counting, would put pizza boxes over the would keep you from counting.
So we're not devil's advocate anymore. We did that as devil, but now we're on the actual facts of what happened. When you're devil advocating and laying out percentages about numbers that do go with patterns, we do know that they never cleaned any of the voter rolls. They pretty much pulled out. Well, you can actually just go by the Social Security.
Here's also my other argument. The only way Democrats can win a electoral college vote is by winning over 5% of the vote. That's the only way.
Hello W1W. Let's just see what Tom Fitton comes up with the recent legal cases that are going to be brought out with what we're talking about. And is Pizzagate real? Yep.
That ain't what he's asking. He says Pizzagate. No, we're talking about the pizza boxes they put over the window in Michigan. Even though Michigan, I think, was going to go to the Democrats anyway, because that he won it pretty big. But there's some weird stuff going on in that election. That's all I have to say. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and get to another subject, and that's Mamdani being in the White House. And let's just say Trump kind of acted weird in this with him. I found it weird. Let me go ahead and bring up some of these videos.
Captured might be the word for it. Maybe. Let's go and watch the videos. There's a series of them. I'm just gonna enlarge it like that. There you go. This is 11 seconds. Yeah. Oh, there you go. Okay, so big.
Yeah. Let's go back, baby. Let's go back. There you go. You like it tiny. It's so good. Okay.
No, well, I mean, I'm fine with either way. I'm not, not hard to please over here, but the bigger the better.
Are you affirming that you think President Trump is a fascist?
I've spoken about.
That's okay. You can just say yes. Okay. It's easier. It's easier than explaining it. I don't mind.
What the hell? Are they dating? That's my question. Are they dating?
I have a feeling that Trump's like, please don't do a Letitia James on my buildings that I have in New York City. Please.
All right, let's go ahead and take a look at this next one.
Yeah.
Jack?
Mr. President, I want to know one of the policies as well that Mayor-elect Mamdani talked a number of times about on the campaign was shifting the tax burden for property taxes from what he called minority communities to white-based communities and putting more taxes on white people. I also noticed that in your acceptance speech, you didn't mention anything about America or Christians or white people in general. And so I didn't know if that was one of the policies that you guys had spoken about.
We focused on affordability. We focused on the cost of living crisis. What I will say is that I am very much interested in property tax reform, because what we see right now in New York City is a system that is so inequitable that it can't even stand up in court. And the president and I spoke about the importance of not only building more housing, but also making sure that regulation of housing is something that is manageable to actually get through and not the cause of yet.
All right, inequitable. What that means
inequitable
means why people don't pay enough on property taxes. You know, I like DeSantis' idea, get rid of property taxes altogether, so people could actually own their property without losing to the government because they don't pay their taxes on it.
I have a better idea. A lot better. My idea is just to get rid of white people in general. Yeah, that would fix the whole problem. We don't have to worry about it. Then they can just fend for themselves and figure out how things work.
Another weight that we see in our
But to be
city.
clear, you're continuing this idea of race-based property taxes.
No, to be very clear,
That's what you said.
no, the use of the term was a description of neighborhoods, not a description of intent.
So you intend to tax the white people?
No, we intend to create a fair property tax system because we want a New York City that is not only fair and equitable, but also one that every New Yorker can afford.
Okay, that sounds more like a socialist. What he's saying is he's going to base it off of your income and not base it off of your race, which I don't know, just as bad playing that game, because some people are going to be in a nicer house. They just don't have.
We may disagree.
They're retired. They might not have the income that they need to actually pay the higher property tax. They think
Some people just might have a nice house and just barely getting by. You know, just they're working really hard to afford something that's just about out of their price range, but just doing the best they can because they want to have something nice. And the way that him and Trump are interacting, it looks almost like they have known each other longer than this first time meeting.
We had a meeting today that actually surprised me. He wants to see no crime. He wants to see housing being built. He wants to see rents coming down, all things that I agree with. Now, we may disagree how we get there, the rent coming down. I think one of the things I really gleaned very much today, he'd like to see him come down, ideally, by building a lot of additional housing. Yeah. That's the ultimate way. He agrees with that, and so do I. But if I read the newspapers and the stories, I don't hear that. But I heard him say it today, and I think that's a very positive step. No, I don't expect. I expect to be helping him, not hurting him. A big help, because I want New York City to be great. Look, I love New York City. It's where I come from. I spent a lot of years there. Now I'm right here. We took a big setback with the mayor that we had, Dave de Blasio. I thought it was a tremendous setback for the city. I think this mayor can do some things that are going to be really great. We had a meeting today that actually.
If de Blasio is bad, what makes you think this guy's going to be any better?
Well, like I say,
his worst.
He's Muslim, right?
Well, him being Muslim, that's not the point I was going with. He's more socialist than de Blasio was. De Blasio was really far left anyway, but this guy's even further left than him.
Well, I say this a lot. This is my new favorite word. But since Muslims have been brought to the table recently, showing what's going on in Dearborn and other places, the whole tactic of tequila, where they lie to you to your face and use very useful deception so that they could get their agenda hammer it home. just Trump aware of this, that, just because this man's got a smile on his face, he's a really smooth. I get ready for Mamdani's presidential run circa 2030.
He can't run legally.
Oh, so tell that to Obama.
I'm waiting for a comment from you in the comment section.
Yeah, we need you. Where are you at there?
Right.
www.w1w. What?
It's W.
It's hi, hello.
Yeah, it's hi, hello. W1W.
Something tells me you're of an Asian descent.
Yeah, here you go. Is MAGA mad? Trump flip flopped. Yeah. Yeah.
It would be like if Joe Biden all of a sudden closed the borders and then reformed healthcare and then took SNAP benefits away. I think you'd feel the same. He'd feel upset.
Yeah, I agree with you, buddy. I agree with you, buddy, on that one. Obama, what? I agree with you.
Matt, by the way, if you watch this podcast here, or if you see Matt and I together, we're not, this is not an echo chamber.
No.
This is what we do. We don't want an echo chamber. I'm a little bit, he's a little country and I'm a little rock and roll. How about that?
No,
Is that fair
he's
enough?
conspiratorial. I'm not. I'm not. Not as much. I'll go not as much. How about that? Anyway, got another video here.
But just days ago, you referred to President Trump as a despot who had betrayed the country. You said you'd be his worst nightmare and accused him of having a fascist agenda. Are you planning to retract any of these remarks in order to improve your relationship?
I think both President Trump and I, we are very clear about our positions and our views. And what I really appreciate about the president is that the meeting that we had focused not on places of disagreement, which there are many, and also focused on the shared purpose that we have in serving New Yorkers. And frankly, that is something that could transform the lives of the 8.5 million people who are currently struggling under a cost of living crisis, with 1 in 4 living in poverty. And the meeting came back again and again to what it could look like to lift those New Yorkers out of struggle and start to deliver them a city that they could do more than just struggle to afford it, but actually start to live in it.
And I've been called much worse than a despot, so it's not that insulting. Maybe I think he'll change his mind after we get to working together. Yes, please.
But just days ago.
I mean,
where's the one where he calls him a fascist?
Oh, I already played that. That was the first one I played.
Oh, okay. We all realize that Trump does what is beneficial to Trump, right? Have we come to that conclusion yet, Matt? Are we still working?
We gotta remember, Trump is transactional. Okay, if you're nice to him, he'll be nice to you. If he feels like you're insulting him, he's going to insult you. If he thinks you're rude, he's going to call you piggy. It's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
And
hey, what?
And I tend to agree with that. He does what's beneficial for him. He ain't wrong about that. I don't disagree with that. Now,
well, so did Obama. So did Biden.
Obama and Biden did the same thing.
Yes. I mean, this is nothing new. So it's okay if they want to do that. Come on.
Where's that famous MAGA common sense, guys? I just gave it to you, numbnuts.
I don't think, common sense is only in the eye of the beholder. It's just so, and I can do this. I can go that route. I could actually identify as the smartest person in the world because it's my reality. It's my equitable life experiences.
It's your truth.
It's my truth. Exactly.
Yes, your truth.
My truth. I'm allowed my truth. And yes. And so because of that, I identify as a super genius. And also I'm Chuck Norris. How about that? Can we go with that?
Yeah, I identify myself being the person who is right. I identify you being the person who is wrong.
Get mad at our truth. My purpose. My purpose is your purpose. We have the same purpose in life. That is it. And whatever that purpose is what do you want it to be?
All right, I got another video I want to show. And this one, it's a little long. It's about 9 minutes. It'll be the last thing we're going to do. And
I want to talk about Todd Blanche.
This is going to be great. This will be great. There you go.
This will be great. Yes, let's look at this.
Boom. There you go.
and yet they get dragged into this because
Yes,
it's like, you know,
that's true. It leads to
that's not fair.
anti-Semitism.
Yeah.
I was having lunch in New York. I'm going to say the weather was nice. So it must have been like May or June, sitting with a buddy of mine at an outside cafe. And he happens to be Jewish. He's not Zionist or fist in the air. He just happens to be Jewish. So we're talking about this, about October 7th and the war, about Israel's response to October 7th. And he said, as a Jew, I really fear that. See, this is a very important beef that I have. I hope you'll let me vent for a minute.
Oh, you can do whatever you want, John.
One of the biggest problems that we have in this entire Israel-Palestine situation is the problem of Christian Zionists, most of whom are American evangelical Christians.
Yes.
Palestine used to be 10% Christian. It's now more like 2 or 3% Christian. And most of those Christians have moved to the United States. Well, evangelical support for the Israeli government has resulted in an ethnic cleansing and the destruction of Christian communities in historic Palestine. So what side are you on? Are you trying to save Christianity, or are you trying to destroy Christianity? Because you're destroying it right now. And listen, and I'm going to take a lot of shit in your comment section for saying this, but listen, if your religion was created in somebody's basement in the 1800s, I don't want to hear your position on Israel and Palestine.
I know he's talking about Mormons.
Okay. Oh, that's right. The triangle. I forgot about that.
Yeah, Muslims came out came around 6th or 7th century.
Oh, okay. But and the guy was a
John Smith.
He played the fiddle. He played the fiddle. He was a fiddler.
Yeah. I don't find it valid.
Yeah, I think that there's been people overlooking things, and I think that the saddest part of this whole struggle is that in society we seem to have an inability to separate people from their governments, just at the simplest level. I mean, you've spelled it out before. You're like, Netanyahu's government wins with fucking 27% of the vote. It's all the Orthodox Jews over there.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, there was a borderline. They were very close to civil war in the summer before October 7th, which is quite interesting timing, by the way, where Netanyahu seized control of the judiciary.
5 weeks before. They were people were in the streets. Yep. We were seeing demonstrations, especially in Tel Aviv and Haifa, that were unprecedented in scale. He was this close to being overthrown and having to call new elections.
That's the thing.
Here's the thing also I want to add to that. A lot of people on the conservative movement that's pro-Israel believe that was orchestrated. The whole protests against Benjamin Netanyahu and his government was orchestrated by the CIA and because Biden wanted him out of office because he didn't like him because he's too far right for him.
That they think that. I didn't know that. Huh,
thing, John. It's like we've on every angle of this, we've sacrificed humanity, right? We've watched thousands of people be killed, and we fight about it over tweets. Let's call it what it is.
Yeah,
I'm guilty. I mean, I don't fight a lot on Twitter, but like I'm watching these tweets too, so I'm guilty of it, just like everyone else. And we also generalize all the people involved, and these are such. This is such a nuanced situation when it comes to the people involved and who it is. And like you've now seen.
Hey guys, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. It's a huge help. Thanks, and enjoy the rest of the show.
You know, I have so many Jewish friends in America who don't fuck with what Israel's doing at all. And yet they get dragged into this because it's like, you know,
that's true. It leads to anti-Semitism.
Yeah.
I was having lunch in New York. I'm going to say the weather was nice. So it must have been like May or June, sitting with a buddy of mine at an outside cafe. And he happens to be Jewish. He's not Zionist or fist in the air. He just happens to be Jewish. So we're talking about this, about October 7th and the war, about Israel's response to October 7th. And he said, as a Jew, I really fear that Israel's heavy hand is going to result in increases in anti-Semitism, especially in the United States. Well, there were these two women sitting next to us, both in their 80s, they told us later. And one of them finally said, excuse me, but I couldn't help but to overhear your conversation. The one said, we're both Jewish too, and we have the same fears. Yep. We are seeing an increase in anti-Semitism, especially in New York, but it's because of the Israeli government's actions. Otherwise, most people wouldn't pay any attention to what's going on in Israel.
Wouldn't care. And that's,
it wouldn't register with them.
That's what's so, like, sometimes it feels like society is just being manipulated to break at all times. I've for a long time had this quote. I'm sure someone else came up with it at some point. I've just never cared to Google it, but you know, at least it sounded smart the first time I said it. A divided society is a compliant society. And when you can divide people on one or two really emotional issues, you know, 4 or 5 years ago, it was COVID and the fucking vaccine. And now it's Israel, Palestine. You can distract from everything else that you don't want them to know about or you don't want them to focus on. And it's like, you know, I talk with people who are very hardcore Zionists and I talk to people who are very hardcore anti-Zionist. And the commonalities I see in those conversations is that they will each make a separate point that is like, yes, agree 100%, but they're pointing at a problem that's over here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes, I agree with you. Now come back here. See how it works this way too, right here at home. And they're like, well, no, not whenever it comes to their issue, whatever it is, they're unwilling to see it there, but they'll see it everywhere else. And I'm like, guys, if we're, especially from an American perspective, this is my
example of what he's talking about is how some of these pro-Zionists that are part of the MAGA movement, that are pro-Israel, I mean, like hardcore. They believe that the war that's going on with Russia and Ukraine, we need to get out of, we need to defund, we need to do this, you know, so on and so forth. I agree with that. But the thing is, they don't apply that MAGA beliefs into what's going on with Israel and Palestine, Israel and the Palestinians. And they don't see a conflict there or see that there's a hypocrisy there, and there is.
And it's weird that they don't, because it's pretty bad. It what's happening either way. I mean, regardless of who, you know, basically they're mad about 9/11, but then they elected Mamdani. Yeah, that's weird. And and the people most of the people don't even know about 9/11 anymore, because those people that were there, that experienced, don't live, or not even alive, or really, really old. And it sort of went behind the veil. But for some odd reason, they have this hatred towards another country that's way on the other side of the ocean, that pretty much, you know, is mad at us because we're mad at them. And if we weren't mad at them, then we would be out of sight and out of mind, and they wouldn't even give us a second thought. But every time you turn around, you've got the Israel corrupt government that's dragging us into their conflicts that they want to have because they want that territory, and they want to cleanse something. They want to do something. They want to do something that's real similar to another really key figure in historical documents who cleansed an area of a certain group of people because he didn't like them. I wonder who that was.
Issue with this, you should be worried about the interests of Americans first and what's going on here first. It doesn't mean separate from the world. It doesn't mean become an isolationist, but like, you should worry about what are the downstream effects here. So if China, Qatar, Iran, and Israel are all doing propaganda campaigns that involve body counts in the United States, I don't make a distinction between any of them. It's all the same thing. Why is it so hard for you Zionist and you anti-Zionist to see, you only see these three and you only see that one? It's the same shit.
It's the same thing. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. You know, one of the things too that has been a surprise for me, even if it shouldn't be a surprise, is
what's funny, the point that young kid made is, I think Trump sees all four and is bought into all four.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. Hell yeah, he has. Yeah.
The difficulty that Americans have in even listening to people with whom they disagree.
Yeah.
Growing up, my just like on my dad's side, as an example, when my dad's parents came to the United States, my grandmother was a royalist, right? She supported the Greek royal family, which wasn't Greek, it was Danish, and the king couldn't even speak Greek, so he was overthrown, which he deserved to be. Oh, malakas. So my grandfather was a Republican with a small r. He supported the establishment of the Hellenic Republic, and that's what the Greeks have now. Politically, they both somehow became Democrats. On my mom's side, my grandparents didn't give two shits about politics in Greece, and they became Republicans, and most of their kids were Republicans. My mom was a Democrat, but my uncles voted for Wallace in '68 very, very happily. And I remember and I won't even say it because it's a tough vote. It involves some not very nice words, but they voted for Wallace, my two uncles. And then I still remember being a little kid and seeing the Nixon Now buttons that they had on. So it just never occurred to me that there were people out there who wouldn't speak to other people just because they believe in one thing or don't believe in another. My best friends from high school, best friends. I mean, we're all in each other's weddings. We're godfathers to each other's kids. Dave McCracken, Dave's passed away, but Dave was a Republican. Gary Senko, Republican. Guy Cabellis, a Democrat, and Russ Collette, a Democrat. And it never mattered to any of us. And I just don't, people say all the time, I can't believe you would go on Fox News. Why wouldn't I go on Fox News? I have a position on an issue like John Brennan. It happens to fit in with Fox News's editorial position, but maybe I can educate a Fox News viewer.
Sure.
If I go on tonight and I have my 20 seconds to speak my piece.
Yeah, I think it's very deliberate from they
don't want us to talk to one another.
They don't want us to do it. Thank you guys for checking out this clip. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe and hit.
So recently, that has been a thing. Used to, nobody really cared who was who. You could get in a room with everybody, and nobody was even worried about calling out a conservative or a Democrat or a Republican or an independent, because we just didn't cross our mind. And now you can see that there is a clear political divide that's been amplified, and you almost like however that came to be. I could list 100 ways, but that's relevant, and that is the thing, and that's a way of dividing a population so that they could be more concerned about that than what's happening.
Well, it's easier to control the population.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're so worried about who's stupid Biden supporter, stupid this, that, and the other, and be focused on that, considering the fact that, hey, do you just realize that the president that we fought so hard for, so far as communist, and now our majority of something's falling all to pieces and everything.
I see what you're saying. You want to talk about Todd Blatch?
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm a little.
Hey, can you do it on your own for a minute? I gotta go and do something real quick.
Sure, Matt's got to go poop, guys. So yeah. So real quickly, if I've been keeping up with some of the stuff going on between Ed Martin, Todd Blanche, and the investigations dealing with Letitia James, Adam Schiff, and other key players with simple but very effective ways of going after people for things that they've done wrong. And you could say that, well, I can't believe you'd even be concerned about a stupid mortgage fraud case whenever they took somebody that was running for president at the time, waited till he announced his run for president, then went after him in the most lawfarish manner, made up cases related to mortgage fraud, even though, talking about Trump, even though there was money that was borrowed from the bank, you had your assessment people come in there and say, yes, this property is worth it. The banks come in there and say, yes, this is worth it. The money was loaned. The money was paid back. Everything was done by the book because they went through it. And then you had a rogue judge, Judge Ingram, who said, you know what? I think it's only worth this much. That was inflated. You inflated your assets to gain financial gain. And bada bing, bada boom. Now here we are, where you actually have legitimate mortgage fraud that's been played out by Letitia James and Adam Schiff and others as well. This because Todd Blanchard was investigating a lot of other key players in our government and legal system doing illegal stuff. Well, our Department of Justice right-hand man, Todd Blanche, who works underneath Pam Bondi, is now investigating Ed Martin. And that's not the first thing that Todd Blanche has done that's really questionable. You can say what you want about you could call it news, you can call whatever, but InfoWars, Alex Jones, however you feel about what happened in the legal case, the legal case between Alex Jones or InfoWars, to me, and if you look at how it was ran, was done in a very, very mobistic way. I'm going to use the word that doesn't exist, but by a default judgment, because the judge, by the way, this was all put on in a movie kind of made out of it, in a scripted, gave him a default judgment because they asked for certain criteria of information that could not be brought to the table because it just didn't exist. And so the judge said, well, since you're not bringing me what I asked for, this is a default judgment. You owe $75 quadrillion. And it's more like it's a lot. It's in the billions. And so because of that, that means they're going to liquidate all of InfoWars assets because of default judgment. Well, Todd Blanche was looking into that because it looked like it was based on lawfare. Well, that case got taken down by not Todd Blanche, but investigators were. But Todd Blanche took that and squashed that. So you're not looking at it anymore. You're going to allow InfoWars to be fizzled out. This is also a pattern I'm seeing right now. Currently, Elijah Schaffer being sued for $5 million by Kash Patel's girlfriend because he just reshared a tweet, regardless if it was factual or not. He reshared a tweet. Next thing you know, because of his large platform and his voice and his ability to talk about things and get people educated on what's really going on between the United States and the corrupt Israel government, not Jewish people, because we like Jewish people. He's being sued for $5 million, and they want to seize all of his assets and shut down his ability to speak. And Todd Blanche is going and looking into people like Ed Martin and other people who's associated with Ed Martin through these real estate cases, these real estate fraud cases that could easily barrel roll into a RICO charge if properly investigated. The lady's last name is Bish. It's crazy. I can't remember her first name, but she's from California, and she's been talking about the mortgage fraud that's been going on with Adam Schiff since Biden was president. So this is not like it's a lawfare case to benefit Trump. She came to investigate to the DOJ that Biden had at the time and said, hey, we've got some issues with Adam Schiff, and it looks like some kind of mortgage fraud's going on. So this has been going on since then, but none of those people would do anything about it because it was Biden's DOJ. Well, now we had Ed Martin, people looking at she came in there, brought evidence that's credible, and was going to bring more evidence, but then instead was asked and looked into about what Ed Martin was doing. And so this is, to me, our own side going after our own people for legitimate things being done because it's going after the establishment and some of the key players in how we got where we are now. Like Adam Schiff was there when they did the Patriot Act, wasn't he, Matt?
Adam Schiff during the Patriot Act? I don't think so.
No, maybe not. But I just know Adam Schiff has been in there for a long time. He's signed a bunch of crap and he's an asshole. But
no, he wasn't. He wasn't part of the
yeah, Lindsey Graham was. But all I know is our own side treats our side. Matt said this. I'm just repeating what Matt said, but he's right when he said this. Treats our side worse than they do the Democrats that completely shit all over us. The Democrats will do lawfare. They will sue. They will get on the news and say really unfactual things to smear our side, and we do nothing. And you got the one time where there's actual crimes that have been committed allegedly, because I got to say that looks like there's a possibility that based on the evidence that we've seen, I'm sure there's way more of it because they're not going to bring it all out because it's an investigation. It's an open and shut case that could barrel roll into a RICO thing because other people are going to be involved, and these people probably have their hands in other people's stuff. And Todd Blanche is putting a stop to it.
Well, I got an article here about it. Let's go ahead and bring it up here. Now, it says, you guys are looking like Keystone Cops. Whistleblower to Todd Blanchett led DOJ, FBI, and the OIG to take down of Ed Martin. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, he's a Democrat. efforts to get Ed Martin to make him and his associates look like Keystone cops. And April 2023, California, Chris Bish provided us with a douche. Provided
Bish is a good dude.
Yeah, huh?
Chris Bish is actually one of the good guys.
With documents indicating that Adam Schiff was allegedly committing mortgage fraud. Yeah, I know who he is. Or election fraud. Attorneys in the Biden administration refused to do anything. So Bish went to Congress. Bish. This is what we reported. In 2000, Schiff was elected to the United States Representatives. In 2000, okay, yeah, he was there. You're right, he was there for that.
Yeah,
wow. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Anyway, he was elected to the House of Representatives and has served as a member from the great state of California. Though through the 2024 election, 2024, Schiff ran for the U.S. Senate and won. Why? Why California? Why you keep doing this to us? Anyway.
He had a Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Schiff reportedly purchased a home in Maryland. Okay, yeah. I know all this story. What happened was, did you tell that story about the home itself?
I didn't get to that, but I just know that I was explaining that these charges this was information that was being talked about before Trump was even. This is why This is why it's not a political hit job. This is actual real life crap.
Well, yeah. See, he purchased a home in Maryland, right? And to get him a better loan agreement when it comes to interest rates, he said is his primary residence. Well, it can't be your primary residence if you're from California as a senator. Your primary residence has to be in California itself. So that's a problem. And so what he did was he lied on his application for the home and got the better interest rate in order to get a cheaper mortgage and so on and so forth. Well, that's illegal. You can't do that. You have to indicate what the home's for. It's a secondary primary residence. If he would have put that means the interest rates would have been higher, and the bank would have made probably more money off of the payments, and he would have had a larger also payment itself.
Well, that's just to me that's mortgage.
That's mortgage fraud. Yeah.
Oh, if he did mortgage fraud, he election manipulated because he's living in another place and representing the state he doesn't live in. What do you do?
That as well. Here's the other thing. You have here's the interesting thing. You have someone like Raskins, right? He's senator from Maryland, but he has an apartment in DC, right? Which is fine. No big deal. I don't know why you need that living in Maryland, but he does. The thing is, he voted.
Keep the small children.
The thing is, in 2020, he admitted, like after election, he admitted this. He voted in Maryland and in DC. Right, twice. He voted twice in two different places. Where, well, one's a state, one's the capital. And I was like, why is this guy still in office? He just admitted. And the thing is, I don't know if y'all saw that poll that they did nationwide. 70% of the U.S. admitted that they committed some kind of voter fraud during 2020. Either they voted in multiple states, multiple jurisdictions. Some of them weren't allowed to vote because they have a green card, or they weren't allowed to vote in presidential elections. And like some states, they allow you to, if you have a green card, to vote in local elections, but you can't vote in like general elections. But they did anyway. And it was crazy, 17%. And I was like, dude, that's enough to actually affect an election if you think about it,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So Ed Martin's an a-hole, or
not Ed Martin, Todd Blanche.
Todd Blanche. Yeah, Todd Blanche is an a-hole.
Well,
I think Todd Blanche is.
I think Alex Jones said warned about him, didn't he?
All the time. all the time. And you know, he actually Alex Jones says, look, he's been really trying to keep people's morale up with what Trump's been doing.
Yeah,
because I've been really upset about what I'm seeing, and I watch InfoWars, and Alex Jones says, look, I think Trump, he's been trying his best to keep our morale up to try to keep the movement going. But he says, if Trump keeps doing this, and now he's got a socialist communist in the office, and they're pretty much sitting in each other's lap. He's if he allows Todd Blanche to keep doing what he's doing, Pam Bondi to keep doing what he's doing, the corruption with Kash Patel, he said he's out and he's done on Trump, and this is going to go full force, and he's going and this isn't. And I don't think people realize that you can if you know, Alex has a pretty good. He can sway a lot of people.
Alex Jones holds back a lot lately. I mean, I've noticed it.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, his protege, you know, went on his own. What's his name?
Owen
Schroyer. Yeah, I've been watching his YouTube show. Fantastic. I mean, he repeats himself a little bit, but it's kind of like what Alex Jones does. I noticed he you know, he reminds me of Alex a lot, especially when he was younger. And he's just looking at it. He's like, I think most of the country probably feel the same way I do. I'm just sick of this shit. Like, why do we have to keep fighting? Why does the MAGA? Why do Republicans? Why does MAGA have to keep fighting with each other? And he's like, you have to come to one conclusion. It's by design. They want you to fight because they don't want any unity. Because if there's unity, then we're going to win elections. And he's like, this. It's not. And I completely agree with this. You know, I agree with him on that. He's like, it's designed by, you know, he's like, you can name any country you want: China, Israel, Qatar, you know, all these countries people keep on saying you're getting paid by. Yeah, they're all involved in it because they know a divided America is an easier America to conquer.
Yeah, and the MAGA movement actually was a pretty forceful thing in its heyday.
Yep. Well, speaking of that, I got an example of MAGA versus MAGA here in this video, but this guy's bringing the receipts right here about what Candace Owens has been saying. I know you're a big Candace Owens. You think a lot of the things she's saying is true. Well, this is an example where it's actually complete bullshit. So let's go ahead and take a look at this video. His name is Older Millennial. He has a YouTube channel. He also is on what is it? TikTok. He's on TikTok. He's all over the place. But he does some good commentary. Does a lot of cussing, but he's really good. Let me go ahead and bring it up. It's a real short video too.
So Candace Owens on the Candace Owens show just owned Candace Owens. So she recently got this groundbreaking information from an insider.
Tremendous risk. So I'm just going to read this to you guys. Candace, I'm aware that you suspect the government and other entities are involved in the events leading up to and on September 10th. You might have been wondering why SUBTT made so many visits to Wilmington, Delaware, out of all places, and I can personally answer that. The information I am giving you will implicate the FBI and various other government agencies all at the same time. I am entirely confident in stating that the plane and those vehicles are connected to 920 North King Street, which is at a place that is marketed also as 1 Rodney Square.
And just to be clear, she said she vetted this.
Emailed us and we took our time vetting this tip. We vetted it across multiple government agencies and to really the highest levels of government. So this is legit.
So she said she vetted this information, but you know what's actually located at 920 King Street? The lawyers for Candace Owens, Richard, Leighton, and Finger, 920 King Street, also known as 1 Rodney Square. Oh, and I know some people are going to be like, that's not her lawyers. That was Macron's. No, it wasn't. Candace Owens' lawyers, attorneys from Richards, Leighton, and Finger in Delaware. Richard, Leighton, and Finger. Again, 920 King Street, 1 Rodney Square. So even though it was inside information that she vetted to the highest levels of government, yeah, it was complete and total bullshit. It's just the address of where her lawyers are. So yeah, I mean, just, keep believing her.
Just saying. What I'm saying is a lot of this stuff we're seeing that's dividing people is all about clicks. Just keeping it real.
Damn algorithms.
This is an example of it. And you know, the thing is there's a lot more of it if you just have to do your research and look into it. But you know, you got anything else you want to talk about?
Hey, Trump, quit having communist people and like what's that other guy that Al Qaeda leader? Stop that. Please stop.
Oh, the guy from Syria. Yeah. Well, yeah, I agree with you. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and end the show. We really appreciate you guys. Please hit that like button, comment, and share this out to everybody.
And I pray. I'm a Christian guy. I pray that we can pull this together and we can do something positive for this world. That's all. I want that. You know, I might these people out there think that we're just like, you know, Trump, but really, my goal is to have some sort of sustainable life and freedom and prosperity, and I'm doing the best I can. So if I'm wrong sometimes, or if you think that I'm just biased and I just hate one side, it's not that. I'm just trying my best to figure things out and hopefully do something good at the end of the day.
All right, we'll talk to you later. Peace.
Thank you, guys.